Okay, so in this example, we're going to be working with a three-dimensional pie, and we're going to graph the years against the total sales down here at the bottom. And we're going to introduce a number of different tools that you have to work with, and we'll be doing two different graphs, so you'll see how that all comes together. So first thing, we have this worksheet here. Number of different pieces of data. One of the things about a pie chart is that it can only graph a series of data. So that means that you can only graph something like maybe this, you know, where you've got the series of data there, or maybe you're graphing something like this, or you're graphing something like this, and with your control key, something like this, or this here, whatever, but it's just one row or one column of data that you can graph. All right, so we're going to start out by selecting our years along the top there, and we're including this one here because we're also going to be then selecting down here, and we want to include the label. So we have to keep this all even. So we select that first, like that, then the control key, and we select this range right there. And that's it for that part. Next thing, we'll go back into Insert. We'll go into our Charts area, and we have the Pie area down here. We'll click onto that. And this time around, we're going to go with the three-dimensional pie. So we'll click onto that. And then we'll take that, and we'll move it off to the side here. We'll resize a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to get the labels on the pie pieces as to what they are. I mean, down here on the legend, it shows, you know, what the colors represent each of the years and so forth. I want to get these more on the actual pieces. So to do this, we'll go back up into our little Elements button. We can just tell it that we don't want the legend at all. Get rid of it there. And then what we can do is we'll say that we want some data labels. Now, the way we'll do this is we'll click onto the arrow and then tell it that we want to do more options, and then it'll open up the panel on the side there. What I want to do here is not only just have the value, right, of each of the pie pieces, but I also need to know what they are, what they're representing, because all right now it shows is just the value. So I'm going to go over here and tell it I want to see the category name. You see how that comes up in there. We've already got the value, and I'd also like to see the percentage, so I'll click onto that. Now, to get this to lay out nicely, there's a number of ways you can do this. Down here on the separator, if you go with the comma, which you already have, it pretty much does a long line of it to a point, and then it just kind of wraps. What we're going to do is we're going to go with a little drop-down arrow here and pick New Line. That ends up putting each of those three labels, one after the other, on top of one another. We can right away, while we've got it selected here, go over to the Home tab, make it bold, maybe change the color to black, nice and thick there. And we can also maybe make it just a little bit larger, something like that. Now, the other options that we have in here, it wants to know, or it also is showing us where it's laying out the labels, and it's saying best fit. Now, if we went with center, it would do something like that. If we went with inside end, you get that. Outside end would be on the outside, and best fit like it gave us. So I'm going to try, I think we'll go with that one right there. I think that one probably looks the best. All right, very good. Okay, now we can take a look at the pie itself. I think it's a little thick. It's kind of laying over, almost like flat. I like to kind of turn it up, kind of face it towards us a little bit more, and you know, and again, also thin it down a little bit. So the way we do that is we're going to point to the edge here of the graph, right on the frame there. Double click it, all right, and then we can go over into the this little button here, All right, this is going to be your options for all the glowing and stuff like that. But one of the items in here, if I pull this up here, you'll see 3D rotation. We'll click onto that, and there's a number of different choices in here that we can kind of play around with. Number one, the thickness of it, you know, what we see here. Now, to get the thickness, we have to change this height over here. Problem is it's grayed out. How do you get around that? Well, what you do is you take off the auto scale, and then we can bring this number down to maybe, you know, 30 or 40. Yeah, that looks good there. And then just remember to turn that back on again. All right. And now I want to kind of get it to kind of face up towards us a little bit. So I can take this Y rotation, which is right now at 30 degrees. You can imagine it's flat would be like 0. So it's kind of coming up towards us at about 30 degrees. So when I bring that up to 40 or maybe close to about 50 degrees, we get something like that. While we're in here, we can also rotate the disc to have it in a different position. So we can use the X rotation. We can increase that number, the degrees, and it'll rotate clockwise. We can decrease it. It'll go counterclockwise. You can kind of do those kind of changes. All right. You can also, at this point, now we're all done with this. We can also kind of change the coloring of this overall. Right now it's just in what they would call like a colorful kind of mode here. In the design tab, you'll see something here called change colors. You can click onto that, and right now it's on the top one. That's what we're using right now. As you hover over the rest of these, you can kind of see how that kind of changes the coloring, and then we have more of a monochrome look over here. So it really kind of depends on what you're looking at. I mean, they got quite a few in here to work with. I'm going to keep it at the one I have right now. I like that look. We can also change the individual color of one of these if we wanted to all by itself. So let's just say that we don't like the gray one here. So we can actually click one time on that. Everything becomes selected. You click it again, that just becomes selected. Once that's there, you can go up onto your toolbar or your ribbon up here, and you can click onto Format, and you'll have the shape fill. So when you click onto that, you can hover over it and kind of get an idea of what other color you'd like to do something like that. Or if you wanted to maybe add a picture, you could go over here and click onto Picture, and we can do something like this, and we can put a picture of some sort. We can do this one here, double click that, there we go. And now if we go ahead and double click it, it kind of opens up here. We can go over to the, we got different things that we can kind of change here. But on the fill, go to the fill area here, we have the transparency here. So like right now, that's pretty heavy, and you can't even see what the label is. So we can go over here to the transparency, bring that down a little bit, and therefore we can still see the picture, right? But at the same time, we can also see our label. Other things we can do while we're in this mode as well, we can actually go over here to the texture. Instead of having a regular picture, we can have one of Microsoft's pictures. These are the same textures that they've had for decades. It's unbelievable. But if I pick this little fossil here, there you go. You can see a little fish, a little dead fish in there. Not bad. Or you can go back in, and instead of going that way, we can go with like just a gradient. And we can pick a preset one. We can find a color, maybe, what color we got here? Maybe a gray. Go back to the gray that we had here, something like that. So a lot of different capabilities. Now, once you've kind of done that, you might have a situation in mind where you might say that this particular item right here, this one here, the 2024 number, You want to make that kind of stand out from the crowd. So what we could actually do is click onto that pie piece one time and then click it again to make sure we've got that selected. Hold down the mouse and drag it out, and we can do what they call explode the pie piece. That's pretty cool. Then you can actually do it to more than one piece. You could click onto this one here, hold down the mouse, drag it out, and explode that out if you wanted to. You want to pull them back together again, you just point to it, drag it in like that, take this one, drag it back in like that, all done. You can kind of see the bordering in here, kind of a grayish look to it. If you want to kind of make that a little bit better, a little bit nicer, or a little bit darker, or whatever you think it is, you can actually kind of click away, click onto it just one time, all right? Go up into the format area here, go over here to the shape outline, and the weight or the thickness of it, you can pick anything you want, maybe about 1 point like that. And then you can also go in there and find a color. So if maybe you want to go with black, you click that, click away from it, and you can kind of see it. It didn't really get too good because we didn't make it thick enough, I think. So we'll go back there and make that maybe about like that. Click away from it. You can kind of see how it kind of stands out a little bit. So you can do that. Another thing you can do too, which is also pretty cool, is click back onto it, go back into format, and go to your shape effects, and they have a preset here, and you can pick a number of different ones in here. Let me just, I think maybe if I kind of scroll over a little bit like that, and then I'll go back in there. You don't have a whole lot here, and I don't think I like any of those things. So I got a few down here. It's just the way that we've got the graphic raised up a little bit. That we did that in the beginning, and it makes some of these other ones make it look flat. So it's probably not the best one to go with there. All right. So one of the things that's always kind of bothered me with this type of graphic is it has this like background canvas to it. If we point to that and double click it, this will come up, and we have the fill and we have the border. On the fill, which means what color this is, it's basically set for automatic, which means white. We can say no fill, and now it becomes transparent. And then as far as the border, we go back down to here and tell it no line for the border. See those two things? Click away from it, and then we've got that. So that makes it just kind of look like it was just kind of drawn out there. It doesn't look like it's anything that was put in there by some sort of a graphic or anything. And then we can go ahead and kind of drag this in, wherever you want to put it. That's good. Not bad. All right, so let's look at another set of data that we have, and that's over in the second sheet here. I'm going to click onto that, and we have this here. And what I want to do here, it's kind of similar to what we have here. I mean, it's the same data really, but what I want to do, instead of graphing this, I want to instead graph all of the companies against the grand total here. So I just want to take each of these companies, take the total, make it into a pie, and do some special things with that, you'll see, and kind of go from there. So first thing we'll do here is we'll go ahead and we'll select from A2 down to row 15 there. Then we'll hold down the control key and select from total down to 255. All right. Then we'll go back to insert. We'll go to the pie. And this time I'm going to go with a two-dimensional pie. I'm going to go with this one right here. So we'll click onto that. We'll move this one over to the side there. Give it some size here. Kind of drag it out a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the legend. So I'm going to move over just a little bit here, and that way the elements will pop up there. And I'll click onto that and tell it I want no legend. And I really don't even want the chart title. I'm going to get rid of that as well, so I'm not going to have that either. I do want my labels, my data labels. So I'm going to go over there, click on the little drop down, go to more options. All right. And this time around, I'm going to tell it again that I want to show the value, which we already have there, the category name, in this case, the company. And I think, too, the percentage would be a good one to show as well. All right. And then once I've done that, I also, and I'm going to get rid of this now. All right. So there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, like that. And there we go. Now, the way the labels are right now, they're all over the place. They're in what they call, I think, the best fit mode. I'm going to go and double click and check, but I think it's set for, yeah, best fit. So I'm going to change this initially, or now, to the outside end, and they'll all be on the outside there. I'll close this up, and there we go. Now, what I want to do with this is, first of all, get the data look nice. I'm noticing too, you'll notice that we've got like commas after the data in here to kind of separate and everything. But I want to go ahead and, while it's selected, go to Home, make it bold, make it just a little bit bigger, something like that. And that doesn't look too bad. I'm kind of tempted to maybe double click this. Oop, go back in there again. Double click it and go with the separator and tell it that I want this to be on a new line, which means each one would have its own line there. I think that might be a better way of doing it there. Now, here's what I want to show you. I want to get these to where you'll see like a little line leading from the box to the pie piece, right? Now we can do that by pointing to one of them, all right? Holding down the mouse, dragging it out like that, letting go, and you'll see it come out here. This is probably a very tedious way of doing things, but it's the only way that you can do it. I mean, you can set this up and say, I want this to be on the outside, which I think we have, right? We've gone over there and we've told that we want that to be on the outside end, but I want to get it far enough out to where that line opens or becomes visible, right? So I can take this one, hold on the mouse, drag it, hold on the mouse, drag it. I'm just doing each one of them. Won't take too long. Take that one there, that one there. So it's just a matter of pulling them out. And then after a while, I mean, you'll probably drive yourself nuts doing this, because you'll be out there dragging these things and saying, well, maybe that needs to get a little bit more over to the right, maybe this one's more to the left, and you'll just drive yourself nuts trying to figure that out. It looks like this one's missing one, but it's not really. It's actually this one here, so I can maybe move that around, maybe get this over there, this there, and this over there maybe. Oh. I might need to make this just a little bit taller. Maybe I'll get it back over here to the right here a little bit. Oh, there we go. There, now we got the line. So now you can see all the line. We can also right-click the graph here and tell it that we want to format the data series. This panel will come up, and this will allow us to rotate the pie a little bit. So maybe if we kind of do a little bit of that, maybe, and then I can maybe take then this piece and put it over there, and it might look, oh, there we go. Okay, so that's it. So there's your pie. Now, the other thing, like we did in the last pie, we can actually double click the canvas there. We can tell it no fill, no border, close that up, and now we've got that, and now it looks like we've got something just kind of drawn onto our object there, so onto our screen. So looks pretty good. So hopefully this will give you some ideas as far as what you can do with your pie chart. This is just the first of a few that we're going to do. This is the basic ones here. So we'll look forward to working with you on the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.